could there possibly be a giant DC TV crossover in the works? Why or why not? And do we want it? Do we not want it?
So, with a giant DC crossover, I'm right now hesitant of it. Only because of the fact that where we stopped watching the CW ones, because they were all extremely repetitive, primarily The Flash, it just throws things off with, we have Titans, which is really dark and gritty, which Flash has had some dark and gritty.
Yep.
I feel Krypton would like blend perfectly, but they're completely different planets.
And times.
Yeah. Gotham obviously can't because
Gotham is ending.
Gotham is ending, and you know what? Maybe it's for a better because of the fact that we're going to be getting Batman in Titans.
Yep.
So they kind of need to bury that hatchet before they're able to grow whatever they're going to grow here. I personally don't think that they can, but the only show I feel that could is actually going to be Supergirl, because something we discussed, that Batman tends to be the pinnacle of darkness.
Right.
Superman, unless you're the movies, is the pinnacle of light.
Right. He's like, you got the two beacons and the two contrasts to each other, so...
And the way that Supergirl, from what we used to watch, we don't know what the newer seasons have brought, if she's darker or not. I
keep up with some of it, mainly the Superman stuff, because I like him, so it's about maintained about the same tone, so it'll work. So
that would be then a really easier one to kind of bring us back to what we all remember of Batman and Superman, and how their relationship and that was. So that's the only one I can personally see being able to.
Here's the thing that kind of makes me look at everything in a different way. Constantine is now part of Legends, and he was an NBC property. Really dark. Like, that was a really dark show.
I forgot about Legends.
Right, and Legends now has Constantine, who's a main character, and it's the same character.
And he would work in Doom Patrol because of the fact that
you could bring him on, and he could carry the through line. We're gonna have Swamp Thing spin off. Swamp Thing and Constantine, they go together. There's been magical characters that show up on the shows, but at the same time, Supergirl started off as another network as well, not connected to anything CW.
Correct, and she was even in a different dimension or worlds.
Right,
like
the multiverse, Earth. I can't remember what.
She was Earth 2, I think.
No, I think it was like 32 or something. It doesn't matter what Earth. I can't remember the numbers anymore. But they've already introduced the concept of multiple Earths, and not only that, the upcoming crossover that's going to feature more. They're bringing the '90s Flash universe. That's coming back into the new continuity.
And they'll also have Batwoman, which it looks like she is what Batman would have been if they allowed Batman to actually be a part of those shows.
So, we don't know if she's in her own universe or if she's part of, Supergirl's world or something. So when I start looking at it, the possibility to cross everything over, I think, exists because it's all DC controlled. They own everything DC Universe, they own CW, so crossover works. So my idea would be, if it does happen, which I think they would discuss, realistically, if you make it some sort of mega event where every multiverse is once again in trouble, you can bring in different facets of every character and make them work together for a giant crossover. Because they've done it in the comics. I think Convergence did it a couple years ago. It was like this giant converging of every multiverse to stop, I think, Brainiac it was. And it worked. So...
The thing is, though,
I mean, I'm not saying I want it. I'm saying
I definitely don't. I don't want it. I don't watch Arrow, which, again, I forgot Arrow.
I stopped halfway through 3 and got back.
Arrow's story is Batman.
Yeah.
We know this. And if you're in denial of that, you need to start reading some Batman comics and be like, wait a second.
Look at all these elements they took, yeah.
So then if you have Arrow, who's Batman, and then you have Titans, who has a Batman that we're getting ready to see very shortly in the series, then you have Dick Grayson, who's going to be his, basically, Batman to his crew. Then you have Gotham ending. Okay, so that Batman no longer exists.
That's never going to cross over, yeah.
Yeah, he never crossed over or anything. But then you're going to start having mismatches of things that Titans has said. Titans has talked about issues and people that have been in Gotham before. Then you turn around and you look at Arrow. Arrow's fought those people. But in what, Star City? What is he from?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Star, whatever they want to go with.
So there's a lot of things, unless they make it so Titans is their own multiverse.
It's gotta be. That'd be the way.
Supergirl's gonna be her own. Obviously, Legends of Tomorrow, they're
jumping over time and space, so
they're in every single realm. And then, like you were just talking about, like Batwoman, we don't know where she stands yet until the actual huge multi-crossover happens. So we're going to be having way too many similar characters, and who are they going to defeat, though? Because from when we originally watched Supergirl, it seemed like they defeated... Oh no, that was Krypton.
Yeah,
Krypton actually could potentially be a part of it, too. Because
Adam Strange travels back through time from a random future to prevent. So he could literally be from any timeline if they even want to tie that in.
And then there's Brainiac.
Yeah, the only reason I don't think they will is because Krypton is owned by CBS, or not CBS, Universal Comcast, and that's NBC, and it's on Sci-Fi because they sold the rights to them, so that's a complete rival. But then again, NBC Constantine, so we don't know what the logistics would be. But
and they purchased ABC's version of Supergirl because they allowed Supergirl to be
CBS's.
CBS.
ABC was the original Batman 60s show, which that was a whole contractual dispute we talked about before. That was a mess. That's why it took so long to get the release on home video. But see, that's the thing. If DC really wanted to, they're in a position where they could go, okay, bring in the entire CW-verse. Here's the Titans-verse. I'm going to call it that now because Titans is first. That's the big show. It's called the Arrowverse. And then it could be like, want to bring in Smallville? Sure. Because everything is part of this giant multiverse thing where I think ultimately, if these shows are all successful, which I don't see why they're not going to be, they're more profitable than the movies for them.
Oh, yeah.
There's the possibility right there to give fans what they want. And I think the interesting aspect would be of you suddenly have, I believe his name is Tyler Hoechlin, a Superman. Imagine if he shows up and he crosses over with the Titans universe and he goes, wow, your Bruce is way different than mine. And they're like, oh yeah, multiverse. We don't have to see his Batman.
Yeah.
But it makes for an interesting factor of being like, wow, my Bruce would never murder, and this dude is just a crazy lunatic.
And I can see Rachel being the one who's able to, because we actually saw Rachel open a portal in one of the previous episodes of Titans. So she's the one who can do it. Mm-hmm. And if they have to go and figure out a way of getting all these multiverses together, make it so Rachel just accidentally does it.
Yeah, or there's always the possibility of Flash. Now, in Titans, we already see that Superman, Aquaman, those characters already exist because there's merchandise and shirts of theirs because they're worldwide renowned heroes.
Yeah.
So you already got that in, and I think that they can easily work it in. It's a matter of, do they want it, which I think they would, but what do you do? Yeah.
The money is what they want, but the issue is also, they listen to fans to a small degree, and do we really want a cluster mess is what think of it, how many people they're gonna have to put on a screen at one time. That's like 40 different people. Yeah. They didn't even do that with the Avengers Infinity War. The Infinity War is supposed to have so many people. So you're having potentially 40 different characters unless you sit there and you're like, we're going to pick one or two from here, one or two. But then you don't have, if they're a team, then you're splitting up a team that you've already grown and started to love as a team.
Well, see, honestly, I think that's the best way to do it. You know, if you get into the hypothetical, how do they do it? Let's say if there's a Brainiac that's trying to converge all the universes and collect them all, because that's what Brainiac does, collects.
Yeah. Which would be cool to be the Krypton one.
So imagine if he shows up and he's like, I want this and this, and he starts attacking both of them. They're like, we need help from everybody. All right, we're going to toss Supergirl and Wally West and Constantine in with the Titans. We're going to take Raven, toss her over here, and she's going to help them. And you have multiple teams. In the last battle, you unite everybody versus a different version that's multiversing Brainiac. you could feasibly make it work while each one has their own story that has to meet up in the middle, because if these crossovers has, like, taught anybody anything, it's that it'll get me to watch Arrow because I have to see the complete story.
That is...
So it works, right? It works. And Titans is already made for the most hardcore or dedicated of DC fans because they're giving you $75 to watch the season.
Yeah.
So those guys, I guarantee if you mention a crossover, we're going to go, all right, I'll watch Arrow.
Yeah.
You know, so it's there. I think there's a possibility they'll do it. And I think the upcoming CW crossover is our first to look at them taking a step towards it. So
that would be nice to be able to see. Let's hope they don't do, though, what a kind of a tidbit that Marvel does that kind of aggravates a little bit, that they don't dwarf some of the characters. Like Thor, they dwarf him anytime you have him with Captain America. If you ever stop and really look at it.
Avengers 1, that was so annoying, where it's like they're fighting in the woods and Iron Man is keeping up with Thor, and I'm just like,
that wouldn't happen.
Way to nerf him, homies.
So hopefully they don't do that.
Yeah.
Obviously, the characters that we have right now in Titans, we don't know their full power. Let's hope they don't dwarf it, though, if and almost looks more like when we get a crossover.
Yeah, and also with that, you know, there's other shows that are coming. Obviously, Swamp Thing is happening.
Doom Patrol, as
Doom
we
Patrol's
already
happening.
know.
Stargirl, that's gonna happen.
Ooh, so okay, let's talk about that for 2 seconds. How are they gonna do Stargirl when they already have Stargirl?
Don't worry, that's why she's in the Titans universe. Possibly, they haven't confirmed. She might be standalone. We don't know yet. So there's a lot going on. The more we know, we're gonna talk about it. But now that we're watching Titans actively and the CW crossover is coming, we'll watch them. We'll give you guys our take on it and talk about the future once, I guess, that's done airing.
Once we see what the future has.
Yep.
Then we'll look past that.
Later, guys.